Summer routines live or die by how easy they are, and honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Security threats are everywhere. But with Xfinity XFi, you're notified of threats to your in-home Wi-Fi network, so all your connected devices are protected. That's simple, easy, awesome. Switch to Xfinity today and get a great offer. You'll get fast speeds and the best in-home Wi-Fi experience with Xfinity XFi. Plus, ask about enhanced security for safer browsing and more. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store to switch today. Restrictions apply.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. McLean Company has a career for you. McLean driver teammates have guts, grit, and a go-getter attitude, and they're looking for more of it. McLean offers an average first-year pay of $55,000 to $65,000 a year, health benefits on day one, and an industry-leading 401k plan. And experienced drivers may receive up to a $10,000 sign-on bonus. To learn more, visit driveforbrooklyn.center.com. That's driveforbrooklyn.center.com. McLean Company is an equal opportunity employer.
Test 1 2 3 Souhan 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Test 1 2 1 2.
Can you hear each other?
Hey, yeah, can you make it a little louder in my ear? Thanks. Awesome.
Can you turn him off completely in my ear? You know, the Wild's actually winning right now, so I guess we'll talk some hockey, but I really live for your stories about your mother and weird stuff that happens to you on the road and coffee spills. Please give me something other than hockey. Give me some, go back to being a Seinfeld character.
Actually, the other day I dropped an entire bottle of $125 Pinot on the driveway of Anthony LaPanta. That sucked.
You're overpaid. If you're paying $125 for a bottle of wine, you're overpaid.
Well, it was one of those, you buy it in Napa, so you're paying.
Oh, okay.
You don't get deals when you go to Napa. You get deals when you go to Surdyk's.
That's why you go to Surdyk's.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, if Surdyk's would like to sponsor, no,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel like I did have a coffee episode recently too. Where
I'm sure you did. The key is remembering them.
Yeah, I know. God, there was a good one too. I know. I'll think of it at some point. But yeah, no. I had a little plane incident, and all these Wild fans were on the flight too. So I'd be interested to know if they were nervous or not. It's funny. I was never at any point nervous, but we're taking off in Tampa the other day, and we're barreling down the runway. I mean, it was the bumpiest takeoff I've ever
You've
seen.
flown a lot.
And I'm looking around. Yeah, I've flown thousands of times, and I'm looking around the cabin, and nobody seems to be noticing. But I fly all the time, and I know this is not normal. We either blew a tire, or they've got to pave their runways in Tampa. That's going to cause a plane to blow a tire. So we take off, and I'm like, all right, I guess everything's okay. But that was bizarre because we were just bouncing around. You don't take off bouncing down a runway like you're driving down, Hennepin Avenue, but I've also taken off from Tampa 100 times because I used to cover, the Panthers. Believe it or not, did you know that? So I'm used to the takeoff there.
I think we should do a show about that sometime because I don't think we've ever mentioned that.
Yeah, and so two things immediately struck me. We weren't climbing. So, you take off over that one island there, and there's these mansions, and you could recognize people in the pool. That's how we weren't climbing. So
that's a really weird way to stalk people. Now.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like one of those things where you could you could sit there and actually, pick out, exactly what's going on in homes. That's a problem. And then the other thing is,
You're creeping me out.
when the nose gear goes up, you stop hearing, essentially the wind. And so I just noticed that never happened. So immediately I'm kind of take out my earbud and I hear the ding from the cockpit, and the flight attendant picks up, and right away I'm like, all right, this sucks. And what turned out is that we did blow a tire on the takeoff, and the nose gear wasn't retracting. So, we essentially made a right turn, circled back, and landed in Tampa. And there was 4 fire trucks, 2 in the middle, 1 at the runway at the beginning of the runway where we kind of landed, and 1 at the end, which was pretty wild. And that's only the second time that I remember that's ever happened to me. And the guy landed unbelievably. And again, I don't know if, and this is why I'd be interested if Wild fans even noticed, but when he landed essentially on the back tires. And he kept the nose gear up pretty much about halfway down the runway, and then dropped it. And it was the smoothest, like we bounced a little, but it was smooth. Like he landed on the flat tire, and then the fire engines came up to inspect us, but then we were stuck in Tampa for 4 hours while they fixed it. But it was pretty awesome the way that the pilot handled the whole situation. I mean, that you can land on a flat tire and not even really, and it was a smoother landing than it was a takeoff.
Next plane story you bring us, could you have some flames?
Yeah, exactly. I was the last flight out of LaGuardia, out of Buffalo once, and last flight into LaGuardia because of a blizzard and subsequent rainstorm that we were struck by lightning over New York City. That was frightening, and so that sucked.
I got a travel story for you.
That was about 15 years ago.
Do you want to introduce the show? He's Michael Russo. This is the Russo-Souhan Show, part of the Minnesota Sports Podcast Network. Find all the shows at mnspn.com. We have 6 core shows, a fan show, a college basketball show, and we are expanding in the near future. Please check out all the shows there. You can also subscribe at iTunes, listen on your favorite podcast app, or just follow us on social media and click on the links, whatever way you like. We do appreciate it. Thanks to Twill in the Edina Galleria, twillmn.com. Great place to go shopping now that the crowds are dying down. And Fixology Repair, 3rd floor of the Mall of America by Nordstrom's, fixologyrepair.com. Todd Moritz of Sandvold Financial Group and Crown Bank, crown-bank.com. If you'd like to advertise with us, please reach out to me at jsouhan@startribune.com. Or if you'd like to host shows, please send me an email. We'll get something done. Team's playing better, man.
Yeah, well, they played better last night. Let's not.
Okay.
I just said this to somebody else as well. I mean, they've lost 4 of the last 6. That's not.
I'm just trying to be positive.
Yeah, I know.
It's my role.
They're playing better. There were times in the Chicago game they were okay. They obviously beat a minor league team in Ottawa. That team's terrible.
Yeah, the team is.
And then Florida, it was just a joke how they gave that game back. And then
I stand corrected.
And then Tampa Bay.
I'm just trying to be nice. I'll never do that again.
Tampa Bay, they played well, but man, did they paint a rosy picture on a pig after that game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If Kucherov and Stamkos weren't missing the net and Braden Point missing the net, whistling pucks wide 20 times in that game, that game wouldn't have gone pear-shaped earlier. But they played well. Stalock played well, and then all of a sudden, one bad shift from a tired team cost them. But last night they looked like a playoff team, against the Dallas Stars. I thought it was as close to a 60-minute effort as we've seen in a long time. They held Dallas without a shot for the first 7 minutes. It was your typical beginning of a post-Christmas game for both teams, where they just all were kind of sloppy and not on attack. But then the Wild pretty much took control of that game, I felt. And in the third period, it was just a good sign. This is a team that's been terrible in the third period, especially lately. It has given up 50 goals in the third period, which is second most in the NHL. Now, granted, 6 or 7 of them are probably empty net goals at this point, so that warps it a little bit. But they to use an old Todd Richards phrase, they actually, I can't even remember the phrase. Forget it. That's kind of like the Todd Richards era here in Minnesota. It's hardly memorable. But they went on the attack. They weren't on their heels. They were played on their toes, was what Todd Richards used to say. And that's been what's been so disconcerting during a lot of the Wild's losses this year is that they never seem to be the aggressor. They always kind of like wait and see what the other team does. And that's what happened. That's why they lost in Florida. They get passive. They took a 2-1 lead, and it's like they wanted to just shut it down. And the thing is that past Wild teams could actually play that way. This team is not good enough to play a game where they don't attack. They cannot like last night I was watching the Vegas Golden Knights. That team is good enough where they took a 2-1 lead and they just gave Anaheim nothing the rest of the game. They tightened up every facet of that game and then just, in a systematic way won that game in almost a dominant fashion because they just were suffocating. Where the Wild's third and fourth lines are not good enough to play that way. And you saw it in Florida. What happened? Stewie and Cully just throwing pucks away for the eventual goal that killed them. And so this team last night, actually in the third period, played on its toes and were rewarded because of it.
You are headed to Iowa.
Yeah.
Is there any
hellacious driving?
Yeah, and I want you to be careful. I do worry about people driving in these kinds of conditions. When I drove down my daughter's graduation from Missouri last month, it was really nasty until we got like down past Owatonna, and it's just such a weird thing to be driving on the highway, not sure if you can drive more than 30 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well. Great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm serious. Be careful, man. I mean, all I'm saying is drive as slow as you think you have to. Drive slower than you think you have to. Because I've also made that drive before and in Iowa, hit ice and wrecked. It can be really sneaky.
Yeah. Well, I'm going for the Zach Parise first game of the season. He's playing with Cal O'Reilly and Luke Cunnin tonight. And it's just a first step. What I'm hearing is that he is coming back tomorrow, and they could technically send him back January 1st to play New Year's Day against the Chicago Wolves, but it sounds to me like this will be it. And that he'll just ramp up practicing and then come back at some point here in the near future. So that's a good sign as long as all goes well tonight. We'll see. And Nino did not practice today, so that's not a good sign. So we'll see what happens with him.
Interesting. Is there any apprehension about Zach being ready, or is this just kind of checking a box?
I mean, I think it's checking a box. It's just another step in the process. Look, he's going to have to come back at some point. This does seem a little soon, but I'm not a doctor. But I did talk to a doctor for a story that I wrote on The Athletic, and when they said at that point 2 to 3 months, I believe it was. I mean, we're at the end of 2 here, and he thought that was rushing it. So we'll see. I mean, the scary thing with herniated disc is that there can be recurrence, and so but right now, he's feeling good, and I knowing Zach and the way that he knows his body, I know that he likes to push things, but I don't think for the pain that he was dealing with in his legs before he had the surgery, I don't think that he would risk coming back if he didn't think that he was ready.
Do want to thank Twill in the Edina Galleria, Scott Dayton's clothing store. I'm all flustered. I don't know what are you doing to fluster me, Michael? I'm not showing very, very good athletic composure here.
No.
So thanks again to Scott Dayton and Twill in the Edina Galleria, twillmn.com, and Twill on Instagram.
Hi, I'm Stacy Souhan. I love Twill. Scott Dayton shop in the Edina Galleria. Twill takes the stress out of shopping by offering updated traditional fashion. I know that if Jim goes in there shopping alone, I will like what he buys, whether it's pajamas, flannel shirts, or suits. I plan to recommend Twill to my daughter when she has to buy wedding party gifts and attire. Twill in the Edina Galleria will bring your fashion game to a championship level.
Oh my God.
This is like I don't know what's going on. Maybe either I'm drinking too much alcohol or you're not drinking enough coffee, or both. I mean,
somebody told me that there's not a Starbucks from like Owatonna to Des Moines.
I think that's true.
Well, that's BS.
I'm sure you can have a drone meet you like at a certain city in Iowa. Just drop coffee on your head.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see.
Okay. What's your next topic? We have we have neglected our Twitter followers. We haven't asked a million Twitter questions. Do you have a topic you want to hit, or do you just
no? Let's go for Twitter.
We're gonna make this a Twitter heavy show because we just haven't gotten to a lot of good questions lately. So Let's start here. Well, Reed Schaefer, who's like me, who wants to talk non-hockey sometimes. Top 3 travel pet peeves for Russo hockey. That's a great question.
1, when Reed texts me the second that I land in a city. 2, the other day when a guy just boom, drop the backs his seat back while I was writing.
Oh, I hate that.
God, it just drives me crazy. I don't get it. Like, it's 2 inches. That's gonna make you so uncomfortable that you can't just at least look behind you to make sure that the guy doesn't have a laptop out.
See, that's the thing. I understand that
He almost ripped my cover right off my computer.
It's your right to use that space. I understand it. But you have to have this, in the modern era, everybody's got an iPad or a laptop up half the time, and you can destroy one of those things just by popping that seat back aggressively. Just
and he
take a look.
He just flew back, and so that ticked me off. Another one. I'm sure I have a gazillion. I'll come up with one.
Okay, good. Bruce Siski, our friend, asks, is there anything you miss about working for the newspaper besides deadline? Is there anything besides the obvious deadlines, that you don't miss about writing for a traditional newspaper? I think you kind of know what he's saying, I think.
Say that again?
I don't know. Actually, it made sense when I read it, and when I said it out loud, it didn't make sense anymore. Now that it's been half a season, is there anything besides the obvious that you don't miss about writing for a traditional newspaper?
God, my head is blank. Not really. I mean, no. I was one of those people that loved writing for newspaper and still do. So there's not stuff. I mean, the obvious, as you said, I mean, is that you could write more meaningful, like longer stories without having to worry about every little word. That sometimes when you're writing for, and I think Jim probably could attest to this more than anybody, because Jim, a column is really a set space, right? I mean,
22 inches.
Yeah. So, to me, where I can maybe fudge it a little bit and get away with throwing 30 in. In fact, pretty much most of my stories were 30. Still half your job after a game sometimes is just meticulously cutting words out, and
right,
paragraphs out, and it does get exhausting. So that's about it. But that still, as I've always said, the medium of newspaper is always going to be embedded into my veins.
And one of the weird things about my job is I can write what I feel like is the greatest column I've ever written, and it's 22 inches.
Yeah.
And I can write a complete piece of crap on deadline or something where I just have to. It's 22 inches. I always felt like some columns should be 15 inches, some columns should be 40 inches.
Right.
But you write 22 inches. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Mike Burgoyne, our old friend, is Foligno the best $3 million checker in the NHL?
Best?
I think he's being sarcastic.
Yeah. Now I get it.
Yeah.
Ha.
This is such an awkward show.
Yeah.
What's wrong with us? From Davis Bailey.
I should have known right away that Burgoyne wasn't giving a compliment. Let's put it that way.
Davis Bailey.
Hey, Mike, just to make you feel even better, good news, they got him for 3 more years after this one.
Exactly. It's a bargain. From Davis Bailey, has Stalock earned more playing time when Dubnyk returns? Do you think his strong play may lead to a goalie controversy whenever Dubs has one of his bad games?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that it's going to give... that's one of the questions that I definitely have for Bruce is how are you going to handle this? I mean, the one thing, look, Dubnyk is the number one of this team, and he's going to get the gate back, and they're going to have to let him play his way out of potential rustiness at the very beginning. But the fact that they are so confident in Stalock and the fact that points are so precious right now, I do think that we're going to see Alex play at a minimum more than we would have for a traditional backup. And two, it gives Bruce the knowledge that if Dubnyk struggles, you play Alex more. But Dubnyk is the number one right now. He's 8-2-1 in his last 12 games, and he's still the guy. But absolutely, Alex is going to pressure him from back behind now because he's played so well. But let's still, he is 3-4 under in the 7 starts since Dubnyk got hurt. Now, you could say that it wasn't his fault. He played great in those losses and things like that. But if Alex was sitting here too, he'd be the first to tell you. But if I made that one extra save. So, but let's not try to paint him like he's Bernie Parent or whoever here. I mean, he's been good. He's been better than. They have much more faith in him than they had with Kemper. But let's not paint him as like the Wild were when Dubnyk was healthy. had the most points in the NHL in that span. What was bizarre about it is that Dubnyk's great games, he was great, and his awful games, he was awful, and there was like no in between. It's like he either had a shutout or he gave up 4 goals. And so where he's got to be more consistent when he returns. But again, 8-2-1 is 8-2-1, and you can't say, yeah, 8-2-1, but they got lucky in those games. But then say that Stalock was 3-4, but they got unlucky, or he was tremendous. The record is the most important stat, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to Fixology Repair, John Hedges' shop, 3rd floor of the Mall of America, up by Nordstrom's. Brandon, do we know where the new location is? Okay,
It's in the Skyway. I know that.
Okay, so we'll get you more information about John's new Fixology Repair shop. You can also check out fixologyrepair.com for more information, and just keep listening to the ads, and he'll tell you where the new one's going to be.
There are some things in life that you just can't live without. Now, whether it's a special piece of jewelry, a watch, or even your smartphone, you want it in working condition. At Fixology Repair, we are committed to restoring your pieces so that everything works or fits the way it ought to. Watch servicing, chain repair, and broken screen replacements are just a few of the services that we offer at our 2 locations, Mall of America and the Skyway in downtown Minneapolis. Please visit us at fixologyrepair.com or at fixologymn on Twitter to learn more. Mention this ad and get a 10% discount on our services.
From Michael Brannon on Twitter, does an Olofsson trade seem inevitable?
Well, I mean, it's a hard question to answer because I don't see who wants a guy that's not even playing. Like we're in the nitty gritty of the season where if you're going to add a defenseman, you need to be confident that he's going to be able to play for you. And this guy is rustier than the bottom of that car out there that I'm staring at. That is unbelievably rusty. Look how rusty that car is. That blue car. I mean, there's holes in the bottom. So,
well, you know what? It's funny. I saw our friend Don
Mitchell
also missing
the other day.
Hubcap. I was in a Dunn Brothers with my daughters having a coffee before I took one of my daughters to the airport the other day. Rented a Don Mitchell, and she was there because there was a car repair place right across the street, and she drives a little. I think it's an Acura.
Okay.
Or I don't know, it's a Toyota. It's a foreign-made car that lasts a long time. And basically, she said that it's got a great engine. She's going to run it until the whole body just rusts and falls away.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. She definitely. I could see that. So.
More awkwardness.
What were we saying?
I have no idea. I think we were talking about
Rusty.
Olofsson. Rusty. Olofsson.
Well, this is not helping him out, but they're going with the lineup they should have right now. Like I'm sorry, Riley's got to play over Olofsson. Olofsson just hasn't had a good year. Now I feel bad for him because you're right. I mean, he can't get any traction. How do you play when you play once every 3 weeks and then you're expected to play great? But this is the lineup that they should play. I mean, Riley is one of those guys right now. Like, he should have probably 8, 9, 10 more points than he does because guys aren't just putting the puck in the net. I mean, look in Florida. He hits the post. He sets up Cullen for a gimme, and guys aren't burying pucks. Like, he's played. He's definitely not killing them. That's for sure.
Right, absolutely. From Bob on Twitter, what was the final resolution to the Quincy situation?
He's so far as I know, maybe I'll see him in Iowa, but I don't think he's reported to Iowa, so I think he's just staying home, and I think the Wild are just giving him a charity check right now.
From John Hedges, who we just talked about, fixologyrepair.com, do the coaching staff and broadcasters have to pay taxes like the players do in other states in which they work?
Say that again?
Do the coaching staff and broadcasters have to pay taxes when they, work in venues out of state?
I don't think the broadcasters do, but the players definitely do.
Yeah.
I don't know about the coaches. That's a good question. My guess is not on them, but the players are technically, it's an entertainment tax.
Right.
And so,
and the broadcasters
there was a
are
great
not
story about
entertaining,
7-8 years
ago. The
yeah, there was a great story 7-8 years ago where a guy was called up to the Nashville Predators for a day and wound up losing money.
Wow.
Because of the amount of taxes that he had from the team that he was covered, plus the taxes that he had to pay in Tennessee.
Wow.
So, anyway.
Brutal. From Jacob Burkhart, does Parise play with Ecker Cullen when he returns?
I would say Eck to start off with. I would put him, look, if things continue to go well here, and you want to keep the Zucker-Koivu-Granlund line going, and let's just say, and we know as far that Bruce will change it in a heartbeat, but let's just say Ennis, Stahl, and Coyle continue to look good. Now suddenly, if you get Nino back with Eriksson Ek and you put Parise on that line, that's a pretty freaking good third line. And eventually, probably Ennis will wind up back on that third line, and Parise will play with Stahl. So, I mean, that's just the way it's going to go. As we know, I mean, it is just so unnecessary. I don't know if unnecessary is the right word, but it's totally irrelevant to even just talk about lines. I mean, it's like
they change just constantly.
Yeah, I mean, even like there was no doubt at some point that Suter and Spurgeon were going to get reunited, and it happened last night, and it should. Like I know, like there's this belief out there that Suter gets to GM this team, and look, there's no doubt completely that Suter wants to play with Spurgeon, but they have not been playing well. They've been giving up a ton of goals. Suter has been victimized for 2-on-1s constantly because Dumba's getting caught in the play. Like, he should get back with Spurgeon. Last year, that was an incredible pair. So, like, Brodin and Dumba now just have to play better as a pair. But I don't blame Bruce for putting them back into last. I mean, it was funny. I mean, even today, looking at Twitter, and I'm getting all these, like, sarcastic comments about them being reunited. They won the game, you know? Like, and Spurgeon played unbelievable last night with Suter. So, like, you know, there is this. That's why I would never, as a player, sign a 13-year contract, because they're going to hate you eventually. And we've hit that point now with Parise and Suter. And unfortunately for them, they got freaking 8 years left here.
8 years. Yeah. 8 years.
Yep.
Good Lord. So, 8 years.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
You know, people, it's like, you know, that's why eventually I'll probably have, that's why I changed. You know, people are going to eventually hate my guts.
But they can,
that's the way it works.
The thing is, you didn't change markets, so people can still hate your gut.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe eventually I'll have to. Just to get out of here.
Wow, Michael Russo. That's that'll be the headline of the show. Russo looking to leave Minnesota.
Yeah,
you know, I'll just sensationalize it.
No,
have some fun.
I don't think we should.
Okay, well,
I think we should redo this whole podcast.
You know, the content's been fine. We've just been both awkward and absent-minded, and I'm going to blame you.
Poor Brandon's over there. He's playing like dice with buddies right now. It's just like,
but he's also laughing a lot. So maybe this will be so bad. This will be a so bad it's good podcast.
Could you imagine what it must be like to be Brandon? That he has had to listen to every word of every podcast that you have ever done.
Oh my God, the poor guy.
They're not all as entertaining as me. Let's be honest. Like, he loves this one, but the others.
I admit that he's underpaid.
Yeah,
and I hope to someday be able to remedy that. But it really, I mean,
at a minimum, you should pay his therapy.
I was just going to say that, and then I thought I would let you say it because I knew we were both thinking the same thing. All right, let's take another awkward break. This time we'll thank Todd Moritz, Moritz, of Sandvold Financial Group, SAND, V as in victory, OLD. One-stop shopping for all of your financial needs. Local company. You've heard about them before. You've probably seen references to them before, and we appreciate them supporting the podcast and the network.
Plan for tomorrow today. It sounds easy, but for many people it's not. The good news is, planning for your financial future isn't something you have to do all by yourself. Visit sandvoldfinancialgroup.com to request more information and ask for the tax-efficient insight of Todd Moritz, CPA.
Registered representative of and independent of Questar Capital Corporation. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Questar Asset Management.
Yeah, you might need to answer this. You might have already answered it. Carson asks, is Suter done playing with Dumba?
Well, I mean, again, that could change again too.
Tomorrow,
I mean, everything's, you know, this stuff, everything is cyclical. Everything, you know, is subject to change.
From Jacob Burkhart.
Cyclical is the wrong word.
Close enough. Close enough for the standards of this podcast. Jacob Burkhart, could Parise and Cunnin playing together in Iowa tonight be foreshadowing next season?
I mean, maybe. I mean, they're the same type of player. I mean, at some point, Cunnin's going to be here.
From Luke Reachins, do you think that Parise's arrival will make the Wild significantly better?
I think it could only help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to kill them. It could only help their power play. It could only deepen their lines. You know, again, I really genuinely have come to the belief that the reason why the Wild are in this precarious position is that their third and fourth lines aren't good enough. You know, I said it to somebody earlier today. 2 years ago, under John Torchetti, the Wild had a third line of Pominville, Haula, and Niederreiter.
Wow.
That's freaking great.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was the best line on the team, if we remember. And now, you know, their third and fourth lines have been a mishmash of nothing for a long time. and not getting offense and really porous defensively. So I just think it could only help.
And this is a Twitter question from Jim. Ennis played fairly well last night.
Yep.
Is he playing better overall, or was it just a one-night thing?
No, I mean, I thought he didn't get a lot of ice time in Tampa. In fact, I think he only played like 740. But I thought, I think he's been good since the California trip. I thought he was the best player in LA, and they did get blown out the game. But I thought he was great in Anaheim. I thought he was outstanding in San Jose. I thought he was good on the homestand coming back. In Chicago, I think he struggled. He had a huge mistake that led to a goal against. Actually, I believe it was the play that Spurgeon took the bad line change and Suter got victimized for the breakaway goal that everybody blamed Suter for, even though it was Spurgeon's mistake. But whatever. No, it's okay. And then, but that was Ennis. I thought he was really good in Ottawa. I thought he was good in Florida and Tampa. Obviously Bruce didn't see something that he liked. So I think he's been playing better. But last night was by far the best.
Yeah.
And so, they just need him to, and he said after the game that it was not him hearing footsteps, but it is.
It is.
He knows Niederreiter and Parise are coming back. He knows that somebody's going to have to go to the minors, and he knows somebody's going to have to leave the lineup. So it's that simple. There's going to be a scratch. Now, I think the guy that should leave the lineup is Foligno, point blank. But Ennis doesn't want to play on the fourth line anymore. So let's be honest.
Right. From Marshall Scare, I think I'm getting his name right. He's been tweeting us and listening to us for a long time. I hope I got it right. How long will it take for Zach to get to 80 points this season, February or March? Provide your reasoning.
80 points.
Yeah, I think I think he's being facetious. Another from
my favorite thing on Twitter lately. I'm on a Twitter thing lately, but my favorite thing, like people are being sarcastic, like, "What does it even matter? Why are you going to Iowa? Parise, blah blah blah." Like, it's still a story you got to cover.
Still a story.
Like, I'm just going to ignore the fact that Zach Parise's coming back or playing in Iowa today because people think that he sucks right now. I mean, like, God, man.
It's news.
Yeah.
It's news that he plays. It's news how he plays, and it would be news if something went wrong.
Getting back to Reed's overall question, he should have asked my social media pet peeves. One is calling me a homer. That's usually an automatic block.
Yep.
And two is the who cares.
Yeah.
You want to give me a caffeine headache? That's it.
I think they do.
The who cares. That's usually also if I'm in a good mood, it's a mute. If it's a bad mood, it's a block.
I read you, I follow you, and I care enough to tweet at you who cares, which is proof that you care.
Yeah.
Did you have a third pet peeve? Or
I think it was only two, right, Brandon?
I like
Brandon's
that.
in the middle.
He said
of the game.
my top three pet peeves, and he gave us two. It's that kind of a show,
really?
ladies and gentlemen.
I think I said two.
Okay, let's go with that.
Brandon's playing Candy Crush right
Brandon,
now.
just edit it so it makes it sound like I was right, okay? As usual. From Bill on Twitter, Zach Mitchell seemed to earn Boudreau's confidence while here. Does he have a place on this team? Obviously, someone who would need to go. Is there a market for Stewart?
It's a good question. I mean, he's in the last year of his deal. He's playing okay. I think that I agree with you that Bruce absolutely loves him, but contracts rule the roost here, and Mitchell is going to have to be if Parise and Niederreiter are healthy and in the lineup, Mitchell's probably going to have to be the guy to go. I mean, he's the guy that doesn't require waivers.
From Cody Pollock, do you see the Wild making the playoffs this year?
I changed my mind by the outcome. Yesterday at dinner, I was snapping at LaPanta that he thinks that it's a shoe. LaPanta also, and I want this on the record, says that Vegas is going to miss the playoffs. So
that would be hard to do, wouldn't it?
It would be. I just don't see that team just going belly up. Even like in November when the Wild played them and they were in that skid, then you're like, all right, I think it's coming back to reality. And now they're 9-0-1 in their last 10. And unbeatable at home. Like, I just think it would be awfully hard to not make the playoffs if you're Vegas. So
I tend to agree with you.
And that's the thing with the Wild is this team is in a position where they're fighting against, like, who thought Vegas was going to make the playoffs? Now, I think the Pacific has been down this year, but the teams the Wild are battling for to get 7th and 8th is in or Chicago or in Anaheim or Dallas or Edmonton's playing well again, or finally. So they're going for like 2 spots with like 5 teams, and that's tough. Unless a team like Winnipeg, now that Scheifele's hurt, or a team like St. Louis, who has been up and down lately and has been playing without Schwartz and Fabry, and Pietrangelo has been bagged up. Unless they completely fold, which they're not gonna, I don't think. I don't think you could fold when you have Tarasenko on your team. So I just think that the Wild are in a position where they're, it's an awful grind now, and they've got to continue to pile up points, and you can't afford to be in a position like they were last week, where just a win over Edmonton put them within 3 of third in the Central, and now look where they are. They're on that precipice of 8th, 9th again because they hit the skids for 4 out of 5. Those are not going to be acceptable in the second half of the season.
Good use of precipice. From Bill, will the Minnesota Wild benefit from leaving the lines consistent for an extended period of time to try and develop chemistry?
I think so. I think that there were some subtle hints of that in the post game by some players. Even Stahl said, "I assume he's going to leave us." Ennis and Coyle, and that was on the record to me.
Interesting.
So there have been there have been those. I think the guys do want it, but it's on them too. It's not Bruce. I mean, I'm sorry. Zucker had 1 goal in 9-10 games. Koivu scored twice and once in 29. Granlund had 1 in 11. Niederreiter had 1 in 12. Coyle has had 1 in 11, 1 in 12. Sorry. You guys play better, and then they'll keep the lines together. Last night they won. They played well. He'll keep the lines together in Nashville. But it's, there's only so many hammers and levers that a coach has to try to spark a team. And before last night, they had 2 goals or fewer in 8 of their last 11 games. The lines have to be changed at times, especially in game. Maybe you go back to the old lines the next game, but there are times in a game where there's no chemistry, you have to go. And I think we've seen that in the 3rd or 4th lines this year. There've been, they look like they're on different planets.
Players always crave comfort, but they don't always earn comfort.
Right.
From Nikolai, what more does Annis need to do to get a call up?
Just on a different note, I just had this recollection of this. And again, I think I'm almost positive it was on the record. I wrote about it, but I remember we were in Montreal once, and this is like 15, 16, 17 years ago, and Dave Gagne was all upset because Terry Murray was constantly changing the lines and he couldn't get any chemistry. This has been a complaint of players for the entire world. I mean, it is,
and in all sports.
I mean, they, especially in hockey, when you have lines, players don't like to be bounced around, and this is just
relief pitchers the same way, baseball players the same way.
Yep.
Oh, I need to know what my role is going to be. Well, you have to earn the role,
right? Yeah.
From Von Trushinsky, with whom does an owner talk to get honest, well-informed advice about his GM and whether he should retain him? With whom does Leopold talk?
The media? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, maybe.
I mean, he's got people that he's got confidence. There's no doubt about it.
Confidants, you mean?
Yeah, confidants.
Okay. Just want to make sure I understood it right. From Jeremy Lattimore, will the Wild make a move to allow them to play some younger players, Mitchell, Cunnin, Annis, et cetera, instead of Stuart, Foligno, et cetera?
I mean, what kind of moves can be made to get rid of Foligno at this point? Maybe Stewie at some point, but look, this team's not going to be better with just freaking Mitchell playing like 20 minutes a game. If that's what you think, it's just not happening. I mean, this team is what it is. It made its bed in the summer. This is the team. They've got to figure it out.
Michael's leaving for Iowa shortly. We're going to do a few more Twitter questions. Do want to thank Crown Bank, crown-bank.com, locations in Edina and Minneapolis. Crown Bank is the place to do business.
Your banking relationship should match your lifestyle. And if your lifestyle is to live well, you want Crown Bank. You want a bank and a banker who will give you what you want and what you need without a hassle. Crown Bank is responsive. From ordering checks to making you a loan, they build a relationship with you that will help you get what you want so that you can live well. Crown Bank. It's a lifestyle choice and the place to do business. Member FDIC.
From Patrick John on Twitter, what kind of grub do the players eat before or after a contest?
Usually, well, it depends. So, before practice, before a game day skate, it's like eggs and things like that. they have a breakfast for the players. After a practice, they all cater in, whether it's they cater in. I won't give free pub to people, but they cater in like 7 or 8 different types of restaurants in the city. After a game at home, they have a buffet style thing with all sorts of pastas and kind of meats to replenish some of the proteins. Carbs, things like that, Caesar salad, that type of thing. They have that back there. And then on the road usually, but sometimes it's really weird. Like sometimes, like after practice, it'll just be a bunch of Jimmy John subs, or if it's after a game, these guys chow down pizza and beef sticks and things like that to kind of replenish that stuff. And then and then on a game day on the road, usually they have a pregame breakfast, and then they go back to the hotel and have a kind of a pregame meal, immediately go to lunch in the hotel that's catered, and then go to the game, and then usually again eat after. And then on the planes, it's like a feast. So these guys eat a lot.
Baseball players eat a lot.
Only they work it out, unlike the sports writers.
Well, yeah, that's the interesting thing. Hockey players burn so many calories, they can eat pretty much whatever they want.
I was talking to Dubnik when we were in Boston, and he was telling me, and this was like one of those things, like, one of those preposterous statements that people just don't buy. But there have been times where, like, he'll lose 6, 7, 8 pounds in a game of just sweat. He said that Hobby Bullen was sweat so much and lost so much weight when they were in Edmonton together that he used to change his sweater between periods of every game. Wow. These guys
I know pitchers have done that. I can't remember. There was a Twins pitcher, I can't remember who it was, who used to change his jersey. Might have been Kenny Rogers. I can't remember. There was a Twins pitcher who just changed his jersey constantly during games because he just sweated so much.
Yeah, that's a country music singer.
It's also a left-handed pitcher.
I don't think
if you were a sports writer, you'd know that.
No, I don't think so. I've never heard of him.
Okay. Let's just go with your memory, though, because it's working so well today.
Do you remember the Kenny Rogers chicken Seinfeld episode? That was great. That was good, right, Brandon?
Okay, remind me.
Like when they were like addicted to the Kenny Rogers roasters across the street. Like there's a great scene where Wayne Knight Newman goes in there and he's like, and he's like was ordering the chicken, and Sarah Seinfeld looks at him and he ordered like broccoli or something, and he goes, "You wouldn't eat broccoli if it was deep fried and whatever." And then he's like, he ate the broccoli and he's like, "Vile weed," and he like sucked. He's like, "Quick, honey mustard," and he like shot the honey mustard. But the big thing is that they were addicted to the Kenny Rogers. So, but the light of the Kenny Rogers was keeping like Kramer up at night. So he slept in Seinfeld's house. And so Seinfeld would sleep in Kramer's apartment, and then the red light was keeping him up at night. And then it turned out that he like caught that both Kramer and Newman were addicted to the Kenny Rogers, and he kicked him back out of his place. So
I think we need to do a poll. Are you more George, Kramer, or Newman?
I would say a combo of all of them.
I would agree too, but I want people to have to
probably more George.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, but a little bit of Newman mixed in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I guess not Kramer so much, but it's fun to think of you as a Kramer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that was a good bit we just did. John Toenjes. Tonjes? I have no idea. Sorry. Where's the Iowa Wild fan meetup going to be when you come to see Parise?
I don't know. That's actually a good question. We'll see when I get there. This could be a long, long drive.
From Mark, any chance Coyle supplants Koivu
I was
as
told
the number 2 center?
The places that I was told to go to. Tell me if people could tweet me and tell me if this is right, because this will be out today, right, Brandon? I was told to go after the game to Johnny's Hall of Fame, the High Life Lounge. I'm not doing all these places. And then El Bait Shop. Have you heard of these places, any of you?
I think they're jacking with you. I don't think I think they want you to go to an actual bait shop.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
What was the question?
I don't know. Well, Mark, any chance that Coyle supplants Koivu as the number 2 center, thus flanked theoretically by the 3rd and 4th best offensive wingers?
Probably not.
Okay. Good detailed answer there. From Matthias Neppel. Did Russo Hockey drive or fly to Des Moines? I think you're going to drive.
Yep.
And from our friend MJ, what's been the unexpected surprise for Minnesota, the biggest disappointment so far, and will they make the playoffs? I think you've answered the third. But so what's been the unexpected surprise for Minnesota? Has somebody been either dramatically better or worse than you expected going in?
No.
Or you had it all figured out?
No, I mean, I think it's been a disappointing start to the season. There's not too much that you could say has been great. I mean, Stahl and Zucker, for the most part, have been good, although Zucker got off to a really slow start and has been not very good lately. The fact that I guess they're right still in it with all the injuries they've had has been unbelievable if you think about it from that standpoint. Yep. I mean, Parise's missed every game this year. They've had major injuries to Nino, Coyle, Spurgeon,
Dubnyk,
Doobie, recently. So I mean that's all there. I mean, the disappointment has been the third and fourth lines, pretty much every one of them.
Is this the worst show we've ever done?
I don't think so. We've done worse.
Really? Brandon's nodding. That really embarrasses me that we've done worse shows than this.
I think this has been a great show. Was this as bad as he's making it out to be?
You just did your Larry David voice on me.
It's been okay. I've been watching a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, I can tell. That was a Larry David. This has been a great show.
I think it's good. It's been very informative.
Yep.
It hasn't been as funny as other ones.
I think it's been unintentionally hilarious.
Yeah.
Who are you driving to Iowa with?
Dan Myers.
Would you please
will be a long drive.
Facebook Live that whole thing for me so I can not watch it?
Yeah. That's going to be a long one. And he's driving, which I'm not a good passenger.
Yeah, I can see you on icy roads with Dan Meyer driving. I think you're going to have palpitations.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So I'm not excited about that one. Trying to think. Oh, did I tell you I booked a flight to Cancun for the bye?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, so I'm doing that. I've never been to Cancun before. Covering the All-Star game.
Cancun's weird.
Is it?
Yeah, well, because
I'm hoping not to leave the resort.
Well,
people are listening to this and have recommendations of what I should do.
That's the way you do Cancun. Yeah. Like when I go to Cabo, what I like about Cabo is it's a city, and you walk around the city and you do different things, and you have options. Cancun is really resorts on a beach, and then just like abject poverty if you go off the resort. So Cancun, you just stay on the resort.
Yeah. I felt that way with Cabo too, and I stayed in the San Jose portion of Cabo, which it's all resorts, so there wasn't really a lot of walking around.
Right, that's why.
Like where that JW is, that JW Marriott in Cabo, it's in like basically a palatial community.
Right.
So there's no.
That's why we like the city, though. We like actually just walking around and doing stuff.
Yeah. I remember I was in Cabo. I think I told the story. I was so excited that I bought like Cuban cigars for like $80. Did I tell you this?
I don't know, but
this like guy comes up to me.
I think I know how this is going to end.
Yeah. I was like all excited. I'm like, wow, I just bought a box of Cubans for $80. And then I walked about 100 yards and this like 10-year-old kid walks up to me. He's like, $20.
Yep.
And it was the same box. I was like, mother. Yeah.
Well, I was in Cabo, and at a time when I was like, I think I'd had Eddie Guardado on the podcast a couple times. We were going back and forth on some stuff. So I texted him, said, listen, hey, can I pick up any Cuban cigars in Cabo? And he said, no. He said, those aren't really Cuban cigars.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
Michael may or may not have a final thought. It's always interesting to see whether he just says no or not when we come back. But I will ask him his final thought. I do want to thank Twill in the Dining Galleria, twillmn.com, Twill on Instagram, fixologyrepair.com, Fixology out third floor of the Mall of America up by Nordstrom's, Todd Moritz of Sandvold Financial Group for all of your financial needs, and Crown Bank, crown-bank.com. Michael, final thought.
I have none.
You got to have one. Give me something. Have you ever driven anywhere with Dan Meyer before?
No.
Will you ever drive anywhere
Probably
with Dan Meyer again? How did this come about that you're driving to Iowa with Dan Meyer?
It was like one of those where it's like I mentioned it and he's like, I'll drive. And I'm like, all right, then I don't have to drive. And I don't know. I probably should have kept it to myself.
Are there any...
I'm worried about like I want to listen to my music. Like Trampled by Turtles on repeat.
Well, I can't blame you for that. I like the fact that you support local music, and we like Dave Simonette, so that's good. Does Dan Myers like Trampled by Turtles?
He will by the end of this drive. There's no doubt about that. I'm excited about going to Des Moines, though. This is crossing off. Did I say I've never been to Iowa in my life?
You've never been to Iowa?
I've never been to Iowa.
I've driven through it so many times.
Yeah, so now I've never been to South Dakota. I've never been to Wyoming. I've never been to Idaho. I'm trying to think if there's been any other states I've never been to. I don't think I've been to Arkansas. That's it.
I haven't. I've probably been to fewer states than you, but that's about my list, something like that. But I will say this. My daughter, I went to the University of Missouri, so I've been back to that campus a couple times. My daughter just graduated from the University of Missouri, and I hate driving through Iowa to get to the University of Missouri. It's fine once you, like, if you're just on 30, if you're just on like 35 or whatever, or one on a main highway, driving through Iowa is like driving through any place else. But trying to drive the southern part of Iowa to get to Missouri is brutal.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. It's fine going to Des Moines.
Okay. Good.
As long as you don't die in a car wreck in southern Minnesota because of the
That'd be a way to go with Dan Meyer like 4 feet from you. That would be brutal.
You know, I can't even come up with something funny to say about that. So we're just going to end it.
Yeah, it's kind of morbid.
It's very morbid.
Yeah. All right.
Don't you have anything cheerful to end on? Other than dying in a car wreck with Dan Myers? Come on, give me a pick.
Start over the plane crash.
Give me a pickup.
A plane thing. I don't know. There's nothing really. I feel like I had a great coffee story for you.
You're going to die in a car wreck with Dan Myers, and there won't even be a Starbucks within 200 miles.
Yeah. What was the?
You sure you want to go?
No.
Sure there are any flights?
Yep. Boudreaux says that definitely Dubnik's playing this one of the back-to-backs. Duh.
We'll just end it right there.
Pretty little city built on a hillside. Music in the bars and fire in the sky. We went to the beach and it was covered in ice. And I used to call it home. So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world won't forgive a winner.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. McLean Company has a career for you. McLean driver teammates have guts, grit, and a go-getter attitude, and they're looking for more of it. McLean offers an average first-year pay of $55,000 to $65,000 a year, health benefits on day one, and an industry-leading 401k plan. And experienced drivers may receive up to a $10,000 sign-on bonus. To learn more, visit driveforbrooklyn.com. That's driveforbrooklyn.com. McLean Company is an equal opportunity employer.
Holiday tips and fun facts from Paul, Kristen, and Dexter at Total Wine & More.
The custom of bumping glasses with the cheers came from old Rome. When in Rome, cheers!
A pork crown roast with cranberry stuffing deserves a ripe, fruit-forward Cabernet from Paso Robles. Let me help you find the perfect bottle.
Looking for the right wine for a meaningful gift? Consider me your wine concierge.
Whether you're entertaining or just bringing the wine, we'd love to share our always low prices and ridiculous selection with you. This holiday, now offering same-day delivery at TotalWine.com. Cheers!
When you come to Colorado, the only word to describe it is...
wow!
Like the first time your kids see a mountain town.
Wow!
Or explore an ice castle and think it's a winter wonderland.
Wow!
Colorado, snow's perfect
wow.
state.